I'm Chika Eloy, and this is a conversation designed for BCD people with BCD people. On this show, we're running through the diverse cultures of talent at BCD Travel, and we're showcasing our most confident self-colleagues. So come on, let's go have some fun as we explore the different functions, spaces, faces, and the complexities across our world of BCD. Welcome back to another episode of the World of BCD, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with one of my favorite guests, Mr. Bill Moenart. Welcome to the podcast this week.
Hi, Chika. How are you? Good to see you again.
And you, and for our listeners, Bill and I are actually staring at each other through Microsoft Teams, which is one of the best products that we've pulled together here over the last 6 months. Now, Bill, where are you sitting right now?
I'm sitting just Tampa Bay, Florida.
You're in Florida. Very cool.
Yes.
And Bill, let me give you the microphone. Why don't you tell our listeners, who are you, what do you do, and what are you involved with at BCD?
Sure, absolutely. My name's Bill Moenart. I've been with the company just over 11 years. Prior to that, I was with American Express for 23 years. I oversee our offshore centers in Costa Rica, India, and Manila, Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. So, and I know that many of our listeners are probably asking, wow, so do you get to travel to all those places? What?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do. We have several. Yeah, we have, and those centers are have grown significantly over the last couple of years. We're India, I probably go there about 3 or 4 times a year. We have over 800 employees there now, sitting in Bangalore.
Wow.
Yes. Costa Rica, I go there about 3 or 4 times a year, and we have just over 200 employees, or we're coming up on 200 employees there today. And in Manila, we outsource there, although we have a site manager who's a BC Travel employee to IGT, and we have about 75 employees there.
So well, let's stay here for just a second, Bill, because I want to dig into this, because I'm sure we've never actually talked about this on a podcast, and I'm sure many of the listeners are very curious. So all of these different, you called them outsource centers?
No, there are offshore centers.
Offshore centers. My bad.
Exactly. No problem.
Where you were outsourced, I got confused in the Philippines there. So at the offshore centers, what do they typically do there? I know that I've been to a couple where they're just thriving with people busy doing lots of stuff. Maybe you can break down for the listeners what do we do?
Sure, I'll just give you a brief overview on each one of them. But yes, we are not an outsource. We got to make that very clear. We're an extension of your teams for the people within our company, whether it be CTSS or the Deloitte teams. They're basically, we handle anything from voice, we do online voice, to back office, to we support global finance, global HR in many cases, CDS. The different teams and the business leaders, whether it be Ben Carnegie or Leslie West, we're an extension of their teams. Right now, we're just taking on a new task or function, which is digital services that we're truly owning. Within digital services, that's pretty much some of your TripSource hotel functions that we're handling there, or HBA, YAPTA. So those are some of the other things. But we handle about 175 different kind of tasks in our 3 centers. But truly, we are not one of these where we're an outsource, where you're taking your tasks or volume and throwing it over the fence to us. You continue to manage that volume, and that is an extension of those teams, that whether it be India or Costa Rica or Manila, they're an extension of your team. So you're highly involved with the staff that are sitting in those centers.
And are they the only offshore places we have? I know that we've spoken to Barcelona before. Is there any other ones floating around out there?
So yeah, we have shared service centers, whether it be in our Barcelona, or we have at Krakow, Poland. Those are roll up under our EMEA counterparts, right?
Right.
We very much look like each other and signify some of the same steps of each, but they're managed totally by EMEA. Pricing is a little bit different. There's different functions that they handle, and it's more geared towards their region and what's going on in Europe, where our 3 centers handle pretty much all the regions around the world. North America being our largest, we'll say, I call business partner or customer, but we handle, APAC, EMEA in all 3 centers.
Yeah, that's really clear, Bill. So let's break this down for a second. Take us down into the depths of Costa Rica. And what are some of the primary, you said 175 functions for that particular center, what are some of the primary things that they're
Sure.
working on down there?
Well, there's several things there. They handle central ticketing and support services there. That falls under Ben Carnegie. We handle a lot that falls under Leslie West's team with CDS. There's several functions for IT and development that we're doing there. And then, of course, then there's the local business that also happens to fall under that for the Legacy Center for Costa Rica. We handle, I think, accounts such as Apple, doing some of their voice as well as their back office in that center as well. So that's just a taste and a flavor of some of the different things there. We did handle at one time with online care there, but we transferred and moved that around over to Manila just to kind of best fit what goes on. Manila is very well known for its voice, especially North America English. So we did a better, just a shifting there, and it was a space need that we needed at the time. But right now we're doing a build out in Costa Rica. So we're adding upwards of 50 more seats there, and Bangalore also we're adding 112 more seats there as well.
Goodness me. So Bill, for your role specifically, what are the fires that you're putting out weekly?
The fires. We're several hats, right? So with the offices that's the sizes that they are, handling over 1,000 employees, and over 100 different business partners and 176 tasks. It's an ongoing. Right now, it's budget season, as we all know. So those are a lot of things that are going on right now. But it can be a task anywhere from an internal business partner that we're working closely with growth, or very rarely is there a de-implementation where we're moving things around or moving a customer out. But it's mostly based on our growth, because we're seeing a lot more move to the offshore centers. So we are working with our business leaders, whether it be in North America or EMEA or APAC. So those are a lot of the things that are currently on the front, and as well as then, of course, Pecan. We're very involved with our Pecan and elevating the employee experience, right? So so that is a daily and a weekly task that I'm working with my leaders in each one of the centers.
Oh, and you've just touched a very soft, tender part of my heart right there when you rub on Pecan, Bill. So maybe, and I know that I've done a bit of work with your team. Let's jump right in for our listeners here. So tell us more about that. What's some of the cool stuff that your team is doing with Pecan and the employee experience?
Well, I think it's a great thing. It's all under David Coppen's world. Ben Carnegie and Terry Atwood and Mark Johnson are 3 VPs that fall under David here in North America. We have monthly calls, and it's called, it's elevating the employee experience, where it's all of their direct reports and their directs. We get together and monthly and share best practices based on our Pecan results, based on what we're seeing as far as trends, some of the best actions that are going on and best practices. We do that on a monthly basis, right? And
wow.
It started out, as everybody thought, this became repetitive and stuff like that, whether it be the actual survey that we're going through. But it was good, and it was pretty cool to hear what our colleagues and counterparts and peers were doing in their different areas and regions, different lines of business, on how they're addressing the employees' feedback or scoring, and what one was doing in one area. We were trying to recreate the wheel in another area when it was already out there, right? When, whether it was an action,
wow.
how they were delivering a new experience to their employees, or a communication. And by doing this on a monthly basis, and that's pretty much, North America, where my group is as well as pretty much like Terry's world is global. So these folks are coming on a monthly basis, talking about whether it's different regions or around the world, of how we're addressing employees' feedback and communication and our overall results. So it's had a very positive impact as we move forward.
And from the HR, if I put on my HR hat right now, that is so encouraging to us as a function to see you using it. What the true purpose is for a business tool. And so for any of our listeners right now that are thinking, oh, yeah, I've entered a couple of comments in Pecan over my last 6 months and I haven't heard anything. Maybe this is a great episode to throw at them real quick to hear how one of our groups is actually moving in the way of engaging their employees. So are you saying that your team, Bill, your leadership team kind of analyzes comments and then says, okay, so let's float this comment onto the next call and talk through some best practices? Or is it the reverse? We heard some comments, we implemented this practice, and now I want to come and share that on the call. How is it working?
That's exactly, part two of what you just said. They pretty much, They look for their trends, then, and they work together within their offices. I'll use like Bangalore with Simmer, and he gets together with his two directors, his ops directors, and all of their managers, and they look at what their trending is going on there, and they look at it. You get one question or one positive, or we'll say not positive, but one development area. It's not looked at as that's a real trend, but if they consistently see a trend, they realize they need to address it, right? They reach out to the employee, it's very confidential. They'll reach out to that employee. They'll bring their teams together and put an action in place to address it, right? Once they put that in place, they analyze it and measure it. And then they come onto this call that we get together with Ben, MJ, and Terry, and share it with their teams and their directs of this is how we've addressed this, right? And here's the results that we've seen since we've addressed it. And
very cool.
9 times out of 10, there's a positive impact to it.
So, Bill, you say that Simar and crew, they analyze, they measure. Have you seen any immediate impact, and where are you seeing that? I'm supposing it's back in the Pecan tool, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's been month over month. We've seen a steady increase in improvement, right? And again, Bangalore being our largest center in the world with the size of the employees, showing weekly and daily results are positively increasing daily, monthly, weekly, all, going, sorry, 1, 2, 3. I need to go back.
You're good. So why don't you start answering that question again, and I'll just cut it. So pause for 2 seconds.
Yeah, so the increase in Bangalore has been nothing but positive on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, in both employee participation and overall results. So it's been a very, very good tool, as well as the monthly meetings have been very, very good to be with all of their peers across the globe that Ben, Terry, and MJ have put in with our group. It's pretty much going on a year now.
So encouraging. It's so encouraging. And again, to our listeners, you need to get your leaders involved with Pecan. They need to be opening the dashboards. And, we could all write in there, hey, one comment is, I want to be paid more. And yes, we all deserve to be paid more. And what I love about your group is you're taking the little things on the side that make the big difference to day-to-day work experience. So good for you and good for your team, Bill.
Good.
What else is hammering home out there in your world right now?
Well, I just go back to the whole budget process. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, we're all going into 2020. We're all looking at how we can get our costs down. How we can best manage our transactions, our cost in our centers and our employees. Our centers, our offshore centers are some of the lowest costs that you can do business with. And I'd highly encourage the business leaders that are out there, the managers and above, to look at new ways and encourage you to reach out to myself and or Eric Morris, who's my director of account management and product management on our team, and let us, analyze what some of the tasks that you're doing. Not looking to say move all your business offshore. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. We're not out there, but we're all in this together to keep our costs down for BCD Travel. And so I highly encourage that while you go into 2020, you take a look at one of the offshore centers or talk to us about what we can do to support you in driving down your costs.
Come to me and I'll drive down your costs. I love that, Bill. I'm trying to think now, what could I give you to keep me?
Yeah, there you go.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, Bill, anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners before we close out today?
I think that's pretty much it, Chica. I appreciate coming on here. I mean, I'd love to come back in the middle of next year and talk to you, or in a few months down the road and talk to you about how our Pecan results are doing, how we're doing against budget, how we're driving down our costs and overall savings back to the company. We've got some pretty big targets that we're going into next year, or what our overall savings and cost avoidance should be back to the company. And, year over year, we meet our targets every year.
Fantastic, Bill. Now, we finish every podcast with 5 random questions from Chica to you that you just get to answer off on a whim. And so here is question 1, Bill. If you had a favorite shared service center, which one would your favorite shared service center be?
So now you're gonna hurt my employees with service and Pecan, because if I pick one of my centers over one of the other 2 centers, my employees aren't going to be happy in the other 2 centers. So
great. Well, forget the centers. Favorite food from one of the locations of your centers?
I really do like my curry, so that would have to be India.
India. Very good. Question number 2. If you had to describe yourself as an animal, what animal would you be?
I'm a lion.
Why?
Because everything, I'm straightforward and I really go for it, and I'm very ferocious when I just go.
Nice word. Question number 3, Bill. The type and model of your current cell phone is?
An i6.
Do you like it?
Yes, I can't give it up.
Very good. Question number 4. What do you consider to be the most important appliance in your house?
My wife? Oh!
Hey! Hey, happy wife, happy life. Good for you. And then the 5th question, the one we always close down the podcast with, Bill. Why do you stay at BCD?
Oh, it's just a wonderful company. I just, we have some great leaders, great people. I enjoy my job. I love overseeing the offshore centers, and I get to manage my business. They allow me to do my thing at my role, my level, and it's just a wonderful company.
Bill, it's been a pleasure having you on this week, and thank you to all of our listeners for dialing in, and we'll get you next week on A World of BCD.
Good. Thank you.